Disclaimer: this review is inspired by content from Ammonia Bullet. There are movies you watch for entertainment, and there are movies that quietly enter your heart, sit with your emotions, and refuse to leave even after the credits roll. The Farmer's Daughter is one of those stories. At first, it looks like a simple village love story. A wealthy man disappears after tragedy strikes his home and somehow finds peace in a quiet rural community. Sounds familiar, right? But just when you think you understand where the story is heading, the movie flips everything upside down with betrayal, grief, manipulation, trauma, healing, and unexpected love. And honestly, this film did not come to play with emotions. From the opening scene, the atmosphere already feels heavy. The tragic drowning of little angel Modu immediately sets the tone for the story. Social media within the movie becomes a battlefield. Some people blame the father. Others blame wealth and negligence. Everyone suddenly becomes a judge. It mirrors real life perfectly, especially in today's world where public opinion often convicts people before the truth fully comes out. One thing this movie captured brilliantly is how quickly society turns pain into entertainment. The father, Chima Modu, becomes the target of public outrage almost overnight. The media paints him as a monster. His wife goes public with allegations of abuse, neglect, violence, and even murder. Social media users in the movie insult him endlessly. And somehow, even viewers watching are tempted to believe the worst about him immediately. That's powerful storytelling. Because as viewers, we also became victims of assumption. At first, Chima truly looked suspicious. A rich businessman. Missing after his daughter's death. CCTV footage mysteriously wiped. A wife crying publicly on television. Everything pointed toward guilt. But then the story slows down and begins peeling layers one by one. And this is where the movie becomes deeply human. Instead of hiding in another luxurious city mansion, Chima disappears into a quiet village where nobody knows him. Broken. Tired. Mentally exhausted. Carrying grief that he himself doesn't fully understand. Then enters Morenica. Oh, Morenica. What a character. She isn't introduced like the typical perfect village girl Nollywood often gives us. She's awkward, sometimes blunt, emotional, insecure, funny, hard-working, and painfully lonely. The village sees her and her father as cursed because tragedy has followed their family for years. That alone says a lot about how communities sometimes treat wounded people. Instead of compassion, they label them. Instead of support, they isolate them. Morenica and her father live almost like outcasts. Yet despite everything, she remains kind-hearted. She still helps strangers. She still laughs. She still works hard selling her goods in the market even when people mock her openly. That's strength. And honestly, the chemistry between Morenica and Chima slowly became the soul of the movie. Their relationship didn't start with instant romance or unrealistic attraction. It started with two damaged people finding comfort in each other's silence. That felt real. The conversations by the stream, the moments carrying water together, the teasing, the shy smiles, the emotional vulnerability, everything developed naturally. One thing I loved was how the movie allowed quiet scenes to breathe. Not every moment needed loud music or dramatic shouting. Sometimes it was just two people sitting together, healing each other without even realizing it. The village setting also added warmth to the film. The palm trees. The streams. The local markets. The evening gatherings. The old village traditions. It gave the story authenticity and emotional grounding. The cinematography made village life feel peaceful, intimate, and alive. Instead of portraying rural life as backward, the movie presented it as a place where broken souls could rediscover themselves. And can we talk about Morenika's father? That character shattered me emotionally. A grieving old man trapped between trauma and mental illness, carrying guilt for his son's death for years. His confusion, emotional outbursts, memory lapses, and moments of clarity were portrayed with heartbreaking realism. The film handled mental health more carefully than many Nollywood productions usually do. Instead of turning him into comic relief, the story showed the emotional burden families carry when caring for someone struggling psychologically. Morenica refusing to abandon him was one of the strongest emotional layers in the film. You could feel her exhaustion. You could feel her fear. You could feel her loneliness. Yet she stayed. That's love. As the movie progresses, the romance between Chima and Morenica becomes sweeter, but also more painful because viewers know there's a secret hanging over everything. And this is where the writing becomes very clever. Every romantic scene carries tension because we know Chima isn't telling the full truth. Even when he genuinely falls in love with her, there's still deception involved. That internal conflict made his character more realistic. He wasn't a perfect hero. He was flawed, emotionally damaged, confused, and running away from reality. Then came the reveal, and wow. The scene where Morenica discovers that Chima is actually married hits like a truck emotionally. You could literally feel her heart break through the screen. The humiliation. The confusion. The anger. Especially when the wife insults her and calls her a village girl, that scene carried classism, manipulation, and emotional cruelty all at once. For a moment, viewers themselves become conflicted again. Who is telling the truth? Is Chima really innocent? Is he simply manipulating another woman emotionally? The movie keeps shifting perspectives, forcing viewers to constantly reassess what they believe. That's good storytelling. Then comes the courtroom-style confrontation, where the truth about Angel's death slowly surfaces. And honestly, this was one of the saddest parts of the entire film. Not because of violence. Not because of shouting. But because of emotional neglect. The revelation that Angel died while trying to get attention from her emotionally unstable mother was devastating. The little girl crying outside the locked door, wanting comfort, wanting love, wanting someone to answer her. That pain hits differently. The film carefully avoids turning grief into cheap melodrama. Instead, it explores how unresolved bitterness, toxic marriages, emotional manipulation, and selfishness can quietly destroy innocent lives. And the mother's character. Complicated. Very complicated. The movie doesn't make her a cartoon villain. Yes, she manipulates situations. Yes, she lies publicly. Yes, greed and resentment consume her. But underneath all that is also a deeply broken woman trapped in an unhappy marriage and drowning in her own emotional instability. That complexity made the story stronger. Nobody was completely perfect. Nobody was completely evil. Everyone carried wounds. Another thing worth praising is the dialogue. The blend of English, Pidgin, and local expressions gave the movie authenticity. Conversations felt natural instead of overly scripted. The humor also came at the right moments. Helping balance the heavy emotional themes, Morenica especially brought warmth to the dialogue. Her innocence mixed with confidence made her lovable instantly. One minute she's shy, the next minute she's boldly confronting Chima. One minute she's emotional, the next she's making jokes. She felt human. And that final transformation? Beautiful. The same woman villagers mocked as cursed eventually became the reason development came to the community. Roads, water, electricity, schools, clinics, all because one person chose kindness over bitterness. That message was powerful. You never truly know who carries your breakthrough. The ending also felt satisfying without becoming unrealistic fairy tale nonsense. Chima still had consequences to face. His marriage ended painfully. Trauma didn't disappear overnight. But there was hope. Healing. Growth. Second chances. And most importantly, truth. One thing viewers will definitely debate after watching this movie is whether Chima should have hidden his identity from Morenica in the first place. Some people will defend him because he was emotionally broken. Others will say deception is deception regardless of intentions. Honestly, both arguments make sense. That's what makes the movie engaging. It sparks conversation. Was he protecting her? Or protecting himself? Was the wife completely evil? Or simply consumed by unresolved pain and greed? Did social media worsen the tragedy? Absolutely. The film subtly criticizes internet culture and public outrage. People online judge Chima instantly without knowing the full story. Nobody cared about evidence. People simply chose sides emotionally. Sound familiar? That social commentary made the movie feel modern and relevant. Performance-wise, the actors delivered strongly across the board. The emotional scenes felt believable, the chemistry worked, the grief felt real. Even the supporting cast added depth to village life and community dynamics. The soundtrack also deserves praise. The soft emotional songs blended beautifully with the storytelling, especially the romantic sequence by the river. That scene felt peaceful, poetic, and emotionally intimate. Visually, the movie balanced urban luxury and rural simplicity effectively. The contrast between Chima's chaotic city life and the calmness of village life symbolized his emotional journey perfectly. His city represented pressure, performance, media scrutiny. Toxic appearances, the village represented healing, honesty, simplicity, and emotional rebirth. By the end of the movie, you realize The Farmer's Daughter is not just a love story. It's a story about grief, about guilt, about healing, about loneliness, about judgment, about mental health, about public perception, about kindness, and about how love sometimes finds people when they are least prepared for it. This movie reminds viewers that broken people still deserve healing, that grief can distort truth, and that sometimes the people society ignores carry the purest hearts. Overall, The Farmer's Daughter delivers emotion, suspense, romance, social commentary, and strong character development in a way that keeps viewers emotionally invested from beginning to end. It's touching, it's frustrating, it's beautiful, and at some points, genuinely heartbreaking. If you enjoy emotional Nollywood dramas filled with layered storytelling, village romance, family conflict, and redemption arcs, this movie deserves your attention. And one final thing, Morenica deserved happiness from the very beginning. Was he protecting